did all of that and forgot to record
Yo, that
it again.
is the
Now I got okay.
really
Now I got to do it again. That is
reals.
so
That's the
funny.
really reals.
I didn't,
That's
I'm recording. That is hilarious, and I'm gonna have that on my other video too. I'm recording for.
Mhm.
Okay, so let.
Let's go. Look, what's meant to be is meant to be.
I know, and you were walking around anyway, so that kind of works out. It's fine. So now
I
you're sitting down.
was
Please
like,
be quiet
oh,
while I'm doing my intro. Don't say anything. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Hey family, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? We had a little bit of a faux pas before we got started. I'm talking and introducing and doing all kinds of stuff and forgot to press the record button. That's when you're organic. You know what I'm saying? But okay, I got it together now. And I want to welcome you to the comfort zone. This is the place where you determine if you're ready to step out of your comfort zone or not. But remember, you're right either way. Today, I have an absolutely dynamic speaker today. One of my friends, we go way back. Like we talk about 8 tracks, even though he ain't old enough to know nothing about no 8 tracks. But anyway, I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna leave him way back. Connection with NAMI, New Jersey, Act Now, and like I said, I'm gonna say it again. This brother right now, he's on fire. Next year, he's going to be global. He'll be all around the world. Y'all not going to be able to touch him. And you're not going to be able to get him at the prices you can get him for now. I'm just saying. Make sure your organization, if you want this brother to present to your organization and share the insights, the tools, and the strategies that he has changed so many people's lives, you better get him now. That's all I'm saying. Okay? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my brother, Paul Newell. Paul R. Newell is a men's wellness facilitator, author, speaker, and program designer whose work guides men out of survival based conditioning and into clarity, agency, and integrity. Drawing on his own lived journey navigating divorce, depression, anxiety, and parental alienation, Paul brings authenticity and depth to every room he enters. As founder of Newell Consulting and creator of the Heal.Thy Man method, Paul has built an ecosystem designed to meet men where they are and move them towards who they're capable of being. His programs blend psychological insight, embodiment practices, group facilitation, and practical self reflection, making them highly effective in nonprofit community rehabilitation and juvenile justice settings. Paul offers engaging, embodied talks grounded in real experience, practical tools, and the kind of honest conversation that changes how men think about themselves. Now, that sounds like a pretty dynamic person, doesn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you my guest, my friend, Paul R. Newell. Yeah,
bless up, Donna Dub. Who you with? Who you with?
right.
Let's
I'm so glad
go.
we finally got this going because it's been a minute trying to figure, our schedules coming together and how to make this happen. And
It's right on
I'm
time.
so glad for mental men's mental health month. I forgot to
Mhm.
say that again. But anyway, men's mental health month. This is why I have you here. So
Yeah.
I wanted to dig right in and get into some of the things that we gonna unpack and uncover about who you are and how you came to be this dynamic person that you are. So
Let's go.
yeah, you ready? All
I'm
right then.
ready. I'm ready.
Okay. So
Let's go.
question number one: who was Paul Newell before the book, before New Wellness, before the method? Who was that man?
A people pleasing, sad, lost man. I would say that about sums it up. I said in one of my speeches that my coach my coach said this to me when I said I'm fine. He said, "Oh, you're effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional." I said, "That about sums it up." Yes, that's exactly what I was before the book, before I took my experiences, I put them into the book, before I put them into programming. This was all, I was my own guinea pig. I went
Mm-hmm.
through enough things in my life that I said, you know what? This can't keep going on like this. And I had messages along the way, but before then, I was just doing whatever would make everyone else happy, and it was completely eating me up inside. It was rough. It was rough. It all comes to a head. It all comes to a head in some way, shape, or form. It comes to a head. So that's who I was before all this started.
Wow. Okay, so I can relate to that. You and I are both people pleasers,
Mhm.
reformed people
Recovering. Yep. Recovering. Yep.
recovering, right?
Hmm.
Recovering, reform.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I definitely
Hmm.
understand where you're coming from with that. And and then but our lives take different turns, but basically it comes out to the same thing. And you
Yeah.
navigated divorce, depression, anxiety, and parental alienation, which is a very, very heavy load. And was there a specific moment, a rock bottom, a turning point where you said, like you just did, something has to change? What was the moment that made you understand that it's time. We need to shift this. I need to shift this. I shouldn't say we. I.
Yeah. It's interesting when I was thinking about this, I thought it was one situation and scenario. Um, and it was something completely different. Uh, it was at a point, I think it was at a point that I realized that no one's coming to save me. Like like it's on your head. Win, lose, or draw, it's on your head. So figure it out. And it was probably one of the hardest. And it was a message I got from, to keep this confidential, because it's going to be recorded, it's going to be out there. I'm going to be free of saying who the message was from. And it was someone I care about deeply, and they said something that I was just, it hurt me. It hurt me and helped me at the same time, because it was, I don't know, Donna Dub, if you had one of those messages that people said and you're like, I can't believe they just said it, mother. Then you were like, yo, I did need to hear that though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me roll up my sleeves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's that
Those hard
moment,
truths.
the
Yes.
hard truth. There's that moment
Yes.
where you're like, ooh, that sting like a mother hoo ha, like
Mm-hmm.
1,000
Mm-hmm.
paper cuts, and there's like alcohol, like splish splat, blah, 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 all on you and whatnot. You're like, yeah. Then you realize, like, man, that just cleaned me up. And that was like, I recognized, like, okay, like I could say I want all these things, but I'm the only person that could really make that happen. No one else sees my vision. No one else knows my experience completely. And to everybody else, like whatever I say could look like an excuse. So why am I even going to tell them anything?
Mm.
I'm just going to make things happen. Learn how to
Okay.
communicate. Yes. Learn how to communicate my experience without me having to, I'm not going to say why, but speak in a way that's who, what, where, when, and why. Only data, free of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
those are things I had to learn when I realized, I was like, God. And then it was the hard truth of, like, then it was the different hard truth of, how the heck am I going to make that happen?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah, you realize, okay, this can't stay this way. I got to make a change. I got to do some things. I got to do some internal work, because everything,
Mhm.
like I did a presentation a couple of Saturdays ago, and I told the people I was talking to, everything starts from inside.
That's the
So
truth.
you have to, you can say you want to show up one way outside, but until you do the work inside, the same person is going to show up, and you don't,
Anytime.
and you're not really helping anyone, and least of all yourself,
Hmm.
if you can't figure out how are you going to make this shift, how are you going to empower other people. And one of the things I want to talk about, because in this context, is pain, right? Because There's a lot of stuff that goes into this transformation that we take with our bodies and our minds, and what we want to how we want to show up in the world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
men, especially our men,
Mm.
are so often told to be strong, stay silent, and just push through.
Mm-hmm.
So in the darkest part of your season, what did you do? What did you do with the pain? What did you actually do with it?
Uh, I want to. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna give you my answer. But when you said "our men," like, what do you mean? Like black men, men of color, men in your community? In your
All of them.
question?
All of
Oh,
them.
okay.
All of them.
What did I do with my pain? I smashed it, then I
Mm.
heard it. I smashed it,
What?
then I heard it. I smashed it, then I heard it. So I'm
Heard
gonna
it
tell
where?
you. I'm gonna tell you what I mean.
Okay.
So, one of the things, like when I was at a peak, a lot of my frustration, it was like it was past the point that I wanted to take my life. It was more on this, like, just the frustration of a lot of systems that are against men, right? That are against people. That, systems, all these things. And I remember I had no idea what to do. My anger, my blood pressure was going through the roof. It was getting high. It was getting high. It was teetering. It was in the high 130s, low 140s, into the high 90s, hundreds. You know,
Really?
yes, yes. Acted like everything was cool, all that stuff. But like I remember, I created this. I always taught. I teach about transmutation. It was around the time I was writing the book, and I was learning about what transmutation really is. Can I take these things that I'm feeling? Can I put it into something and smash it or immerse it? Like, if I put something on a piece of paper and I put it in fire and it burns, does that do something in me? So in the midst of all this pain and this, especially the anger I was feeling towards, I could say it was towards one person, but it was towards many people and things, and like I said, systems. What I ended up doing was in my basement. In time, I was drinking heavily, so I had a lot of bottles. So what I did is I got my goggles and gloves, and I took whatever anger I was feeling, I put it into a bottle, and then I smashed it against the wall.
Mm.
And then after I smashed it, then I got to hear my body, because after I let go of all the anger, I broke down in tears. I got to
Mm.
feel a lot of the abandonment, a lot of the sadness and my disappointment, a lot of my distrust that was living in my body that was getting reactivated. I got to hear that, weep for it, have sadness for it, have compassion for it,
Wow.
rather than try to judge it or use anger to try and defend, so nobody could ever get to that place, including myself.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So that was the biggest piece for me, and that helped unlock a lot of things. I still do it to some of the times. I'm like, you know what, this mother. Oh. Then I'll go ground. Go put my feet in the grass.
Right.
Ah.
You know how important grounding is for us to be in touch with the earth and the
Listen.
energy and the electric stuff that comes out of the earth? That is just so soothing and healing. Yes, and you will go ground. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
go ground, man. It's and like do
Great.
something to take care of yourself. Like, let yourself just be. And I think that's the biggest part. Like a lot of men carry pain, and
Mm-hmm.
it's masked as anger. Then when that
Mm-hmm.
anger goes away, there's like, yo, it's like a dude is barren. It's like, yo, I've seen cats shake when they let go of all their anger. They get overcome with sadness. They just drop to the ground and weep.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
have no idea how much we hold until we're in a space to be held ourselves, so we can let stuff go.
Yes, you're right. I don't.
It's like,
I don't. I don't. I just know that it needs to come out. That's what I
yeah,
do.
that's
I
it.
know that men have been holding too much for too long. It's starting to come out, but it's
Yeah,
coming out in ways for some men that is not healthy, that can actually be dangerous, that could be deadly and has been deadly.
yeah.
And this is part of the reason why I decided to start my own series of still standing and how to help brothers and men of color, not just brothers, but men of color, to be
Hmm.
able to make the breakthrough, like we saying, and
Yeah.
let it go. Because so to shake, to get rid of the anger is because you've been holding it for so long, you've been doing it for so long, it becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the stress that we endure in our lives, um, for a lot of us on a daily basis, because you're so used to it that it does that you don't make any distinction that it shouldn't be, you shouldn't be this stressful. Your blood pressure should not be this high. You should
No.
not be feeling these emotions, and
No.
that's not good. Right? So I'm so glad that you broke that down. And did the book come after that? Did the Heal.Thy Man method come after you began to start doing some of that work? I mean, it came from
Uh,
your life, right? So how did you go from that to building the roadmap for other men?
yeah, it's crazy. It's really, man, it's interesting you mention this because I was trying to put together the timeline for all this. And my guy Chris, he wrote his book, Build Your Legacy. And that sparked it in me to be like, oh, you know what? I remember like years before I had written these three sections: step into the arena, master your mojo, rise into your king. And I'd done programming around it. It failed miserably, but I still had the programming around it. So I just built around my experiences and started to categorize them. So that experience I was just telling you about was part of like how I learned more about transmutation. Because man, people don't know, like I was on a sex detox that when I wrote the book. So that was my first act of my that was my first act of sexual transmutation. I didn't masturbate, I didn't have sex, didn't watch porn. I put everything into that book, and that's what it became. That was like all the sexual energy I was quote unquote holding, I was channeling into creating this vessel.
Mm.
Because like Napoleon Hill, for the cats out here, the people out here that have yet to read or listen to Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill back in 1920 was talking about this. He interviewed the titans of industry, and these are some of the common things he found about all of the people that were titans back then. That would be quadrillionaires right now if you take the money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And put it in today's value, right?
Yeah,
Right.
what? Like this
Mm-hmm.
cat, like they all talked about, like you got like especially dudes over 40. That's when you start to really kick it in.
Mm-hmm.
So the book came over my experiences and how I learned to manage, because like in order for me to get here, and I still got to go back to the book and I still go back to these pieces. It's a labyrinth, it's a cycle. Like I'm gonna go back and experience something whole again. Like it is what it is. But the things that helped me along the way were being able to change my perception on things. Part of that was blessed up to plant medicine, because being able to do some plant medicine, I got to change my perception, even if it was for like 30 minutes or like 5 hours. Then doing parts work, being able to talk to parts of myself. Then like shamanism, like visualization, like going to see guides and ancestors and nature. These are all tools that are natural. These are all natural tools. Like
Mm-hmm.
no medication. I got to really start to build my book from a lot of these guides and energies, man. And a lot of and they helped me they helped me to take a step back and really look at my experiences in a way that I can write and teach other men.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I mean, so when, so this is going to be a question that's kind of off, not really off topic, but
What do you mean?
it's all in the same.
Do you ever have a question that's off topic for me? Huh? Huh? Who are you talking to? Don't you get into that podcast voice trying to, well, you know, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about now, man. What's question you got for
Listen,
me?
listen. Leave my mojo alone. All right. Let me do what I do. All
That's
right.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up now. You keep quiet.
What
Right.
led you to understanding that this was the path you should have went to start to, like you said, all the different things that were natural, the ancestors, to talking to yourself, the shaman, and all the different techniques and strategies that you developed that you actually learned about to help you be able to help other men. What made you know that that was the path to take, as opposed to being angry, hating everybody, always wanting to just be arrogant and combative? What made you do that? I mean, after you got rid of the
Um,
anger, you threw it against the wall, you cried, you let it all out, you tell yourself, okay, no, all right, this is not the way I want to be. What made you go to that path?
uh, damn, I'm thinking it was a time I was in the hospital and my blood pressure was through the roof. I had like the consistent headache. My blood pressure was crazy. And I went to the hospital. It was after All Kings weekend. And I'd done this anger exercise. And it spiked up my blood pressure. I remember I was screaming so loud. I let go so much in such an intense period. Like my blood pressure went crazy. So I remember I was in the hospital and they did everything they could to get my blood pressure down and they couldn't. And I remember like they weren't gonna let me go. I was like, I'll be fine. They're like, you're not leaving here. Like you'll stroke out and die. I was like, this cat. But then I started to see the worry in their face that they couldn't get my blood pressure down. It's like 190 over like 150, man. Like it was not good. It was high. I know it was high. It was
Oh,
high, high. So they kept me overnight, and I remember I was in my bed, and I just talk about shamanism, right? So I said I'm gonna go talk to my heart and see what's going on.
mm,
So I went to go talk to my heart, and I can remember like the vision was so clear in this dream or vision, whatever you call it, like prayer. And my heart was at the end of this long table, and I was like, "Man, heart, man, what's going on, man? What's wrong with you?" And I was like trying to pick a fight at my heart, right? And my heart was basically like, "You're holding on to me too tight. Like, why do you hold on so tight?" And I'm like, man, they keep hurting you. They keep doing like all this abandonment and hurt I had been experiencing. This armor I had kept on was so heavy by this time, Donna, it was the craziest thing that like it started to weigh on my blood pressure.
mm-hmm.
My blood pressure was just, and my heart was like, we can't take it. You're cutting me to shreds. And in this vision, I remember like I laid down my wounds, and my parents came, my ancestors like came in from the heavens and laid down all their wounds on this table. And I realized I'm like, yo, I gotta learn how to let this go, or else I'm not gonna be here long.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it was telling me. And it was like, yo, like this is one of the last times we're gonna tell you. Each time we're gonna get harder and harder on your ass. Okay. So you won't be here long if you don't learn how to manage this. And that was part of actually like later on, that was part of the smashing. That was my
Mm-hmm.
way of learning how to manage that, like grounding.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to learn and teach myself these ways because I never really learned them before. I just learned
Right.
the anger part of it. So that's
Oh,
when I recognized I got to shift my shit or else I'm not going to be here.
right. See, when we talk about that dis-ease, you break disease down into dis-ease in
That's
your
right.
body, and that's where how it shows up. That's real life. I want you guys to understand who are watching this and listening to us. This is real life stuff. This is a man that's telling you what his blood pressure was
It's
through
crazy.
the roof.
Through the
And
roof.
yeah, so I mean, I think that people don't understand the power of speaking to your body,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
power of being able to look outside, to have a experience outside of yourself. Because people say, "Oh, you're kidding me? Who does that? You're crazy." Well, people who don't do it probably need to do it, and the people that do it are here because they do it. You
Yeah. Well, it's a two-way street though, because we got especially it's look, it's the call that I was on before. Like we gotta there's this perception of this is how we talk to men, and that's not always the case, right? Because we could say, hey, we gotta talk to our body. We there's this all this message of we gotta say these affirmations, we gotta say all this stuff. But all that's doing is that's plastering over the voice that's already in that's saying that you're a piece of shit, that you're not worth anything. That's the kind of mindset that men have while they kill themselves at a rate four times higher than women. So let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about it, right? But everybody wants to put that freaking salt on the wound or put that band-aid on the freaking thing that needs 100 stitches to act like that's gonna heal it, and it doesn't.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't. So
Mm-mm.
the piece is like I'm saying, yeah, I get jammed up when we talk about like, oh, that's what it is. Like we talk to our body, but we as men get to learn to listen to it because there's
Mm.
times when like you can't get your stuff up, that your circulation's jacked up, and then all of a sudden you have a stroke because you're too concerned to tell somebody. There's a point where it's like all of a sudden you're pissing blood, and you're like, oh, you're like, I'm not gonna tell anybody. You're due to blood. Next thing you know, you got stage 3 colon cancer, and that's you. Bye bye. Peace. Speak up. Listen
Right.
to what your body's telling you.
Right.
Like, you know how long I was in pain with my hips before I actually went to a surgeon and I found out I had to get both of my hips done? Yo,
Mm.
I'm about to post a video about this in the next couple of days because June 17th was the anniversary. 6 years, I got both of my hips replaced. I'm walking
Wow.
around here like a freaking cripple on a cane because I didn't want to listen to my body and the pain signs it was giving me.
Just ease.
Yo,
Just
like,
ease in your body. Yes. Yes.
look,
You
man,
got it. But here's the thing. Men are not alone in that. But more
no,
women do listen to their bodies than men do.
that's
But
right.
we're guilty of it too. We are guilty of it as well. And I think that some of the one of the differences with us is that we do talk to each other more. So when we talk to each
Exactly.
other more and we express what we might be going through with someone else, they go, "Oh, I went through that.
Yeah,
Did you do such
exactly.
and such and such?" And right, but see, when you guys don't do that, you don't get that information. You don't get that connection.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm hoping that we can, you and I and other people who are in this space and in this work, will be will be working to change, because
Yeah.
that's how, when we build that community, when we build that connectedness, when we build that together, when we sit up there and we talk like our like old people and be like, well, my knee was really giving me my knee did give me some pain today, right? And I was like, I wasn't even thinking about the rain, and then the rain started coming. I said, oh, that's why my knee was hurting. The
Mm,
rain is coming. But
mm.
and these are the things that we have to do when we have conversations with each other, and we check on each other, and we say, well, how are you feeling? And you go, I'm all right. No, no, no. How?
How you
What?
feeling though?
How are you really feeling? Like what? And I always know. I have friends that can tell from the moment I answer the phone what
Yeah.
mood I'm in, and I could tell what mood they're in by the way they answer the phone and how they sound, and things like that. And this is when you're in connection with people, you pick up on things like that, and then you don't let them get away with it. Now, if they don't want to talk,
No.
then they don't want to talk. Then you got to
Yeah.
leave them alone. But
Yeah.
if they're open to a conversation, then it's like, okay, so you want to talk about what's happening,
Yeah.
and that's how we get to the next level. That's how we get
Yeah.
to that place where you don't end up in the hospital like you did.
Yeah.
You know.
True words. True words.
So what do
Listen, we
you?
we were talking about that at the Nami NJ. That was my breakout. Breaking silence, building brotherhood, man. We get to have
Yes,
more, and there's more circles that are popping up. Ha ha.
I'm saying,
Well, well.
I'm telling y'all from the beginning, you better
Well,
get this
well.
man while you can. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
But I
let
want
him
to
know. You
understand a
told
little
him.
bit something. Yeah, right. I put it out there. That's all I can do. So your work reaches across races, cultures, and many backgrounds. So what would you say is the universal wound that you keep seeing no matter how many times you walk into the room? No matter who walks into the room, or no matter how many times you walk into the room, what is the universal wound that keeps showing up? I think you touched on it, but it may be something else. I'm not sure.
Hmm. I thought I had an answer for you, and I had to take a moment to really think and make sure that that was true for me. Uh, yeah, and it is abandonment,
Mm-hmm.
abandonment, abandonment. At the in some way, sense, From the work I've done for on myself, the work I've done with others, the work I've done with mentees, there is some sense of abandonment where someone had left them alone and or they had left themselves. And that's the root of a lot of their pains and dis-ease.
What do you mean someone left themselves?
There's a part of themselves that gets splintered, like they compromise themselves in order to get out of a situation. Like for you, for me as a former people pleaser, but there were plenty of times where I splintered off myself at the comfort of others, the expense of myself. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, someone said some sideways microaggression, I let it go. Rather than be like, yo, what you just said was effed up. You realize that, right? Instead, I let that part of myself that wanted to stand up for myself, I shut it down. And then I kept shutting it down to the point that it was used to getting shut down. So it never spoke up again. That's what I'm talking about being splintered off.
Wow. So
Mm-hmm.
that part of your voice, you just lost that part of your voice.
Yeah, it's hard. It's harder to hear because before it's like, yo, man, you gonna stay there? You gonna let that happen? To the point where it's just like, what is thing? See the two voice difference? Which one's easier to hear?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But when we focus on something specifically, where your attention goes, energy flows. So we're focused on things specifically, which is the danger of mental health month because we keep advertising that men are 4 times more likely to do this, for that they suffer from this. So all of a sudden, it can become a reality. If we're starting to look at this from like, how do we truly strengthen a man's mind? Well, men's mind has the capability to do this, this, and this. What happens with the mental health conversation? For physical health, we talk about, hey, guys should be able to do 10 pull-ups, 30 push-ups, just stand on your leg for a minute, sit in a malasana squat for a minute, right? We tell all these physical things. Emotion, hey, let your emotions go. What do we do for the mind? Talk about all the things that are wrong with it.
Mm.
Distract it.
Mm.
Feed it foolishness. Then feeds food that fuels a lot of the foolishness.
Mm.
You see how crazy that goes?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's you know it's interesting what I'm seeing out here. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Wow. Okay, so abandonment is your word. But see, now you're helping me and and helping me to see some things that I hadn't even thought about, how the dynamic of focusing on the statistics of what we saying what men are more likely to do. And I know that part of my conversation is to be able to provide tools and strategies and talk about what we know you can do and where are some of the
Yes,
things, starting with small steps. I mean, I'm no
yes.
expert by any means, but I also have done the work.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
also have come through a lot of my own trauma, a lot of my own issues with people pleasing, caregiving, taking care of everybody else, making sure everybody else was okay and I wasn't okay. Dis-ease in my body. I mean, it goes on and on. So we both have our share of traumas, of things that have happened to us,
Yep.
and and both of us are doing exactly what we were called to do, to help empower other people. Because it's one thing
Amen.
to take care of yourself and then keep it moving, but it's another thing to take care of yourself and reach back and say, okay, let me come get the masses. Come on, let me go get some of y'all. Come on, let's go. Because all of us being better, all of us healing and being better together makes us a better country, a better nation, a better world, and a better place for us to exist.
And so it is, and so it will be.
There it is, bro. There it is. So break down the 4 archetypes of your blueprints for me. You build 4 archetypes into blueprints. Break it down for me: lover, warrior, mystic, and sovereign. It's interesting
Mm.
that you use the word sovereign. You have used that word, and then I heard Tony Robbins use that word. I said, wait a minute. Oh, I heard that word before you, Tony.
Chicken or the egg? Which came first? Which came
You know what I
first? It
mean? But
doesn't matter. It
listen,
doesn't.
I've been to Tony Robbins. I've been listening to him for a minute. But when he did something, I forgot what it was. But and then he talked about your sovereignty. Like I said, what?
Yeah.
Talk about. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
break that
And so it is. Yeah. I want to note too, because the blueprints that I create is different than the archetypes.
down. Okay.
So
Oh.
the archetypes, like, we can go into like what the lover technically is, what the warrior technically is. My my concept of the blueprints is the integration of the archetypes. So for
Mm-hmm.
example, with the lover, like part of what I teach with the blueprints, whether for men or young men in juvenile justice systems, is who taught you how to love?
Mm.
What does that look like? Okay. Who taught that to you? Does that work for you? Who taught you how to take care of yourself? Right. What does that look like? Like, let's examine it, because, like, so I'll go through all of them, right? That's the lover. The warriors, what do you fight for? Not how do you fight? What do you fight for? And what are your tools? Like for me, one of my tools is communication, knowledge, right? I like to search and seek so I could teach another. I like to educate. Those are my tools. That's how I fight. Now I can get down if I need to, right? But like how I fight for life, how I fight for longevity is using my tools. As a warrior, we get to figure that out. We get to learn how to fight in an arena.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the mystic, what are we creating? What are we creating in our life? What's our vision for our life? What are we turning, how are we turning shit into sunshine?
I
Okay.
love it.
Then the sovereign piece is, how do you rule yourself in all these facets of yourself?
Mm.
Because it's never one separate, it's a culmination of all of them.
Mm. Mm.
How do you as a sovereign energy regulate that? Because the thing is, a king, I used to always say, bless up, king. How you doing, king? Yes, king. I still say it sometimes, but in certain spaces, it can be derogatory.
Mm.
Because think about it. Some king, like, kings can be tyrants.
Yes. Yes.
Kings
Yes.
can be controlling.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
may have nothing to do with the actual action of the person or of the
Mm-hmm.
king. It may
Mm-hmm.
have been something that the king needed to do, right? Yet the perception of it is that that person's a tyrant.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's part of, like, no one's coming to save you. So it's important for you to do what you need to do, because someone's going to have some opinion of it regardless of what you do or how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So the,
Mm-hmm.
the whole combination is figuring out, with all those pieces, how do we figure things out for ourselves? How do we start to find what are those pieces in us, how they show up, which connects us to our unique blueprint in this world?
Wow. Right. Because everybody's blueprint is different. It's not
Everybody's blueprint's different.
so right.
And
Everybody's blueprint is different.
and what can you do with a blueprint? You can change it up. You can
Change it.
build different
That's right.
structure.
You can change it. That's right. That's right. You
See?
can build upon it. You can make it a ranch level. You can make it a
Yeah.
colonial. You can make it a bi-level.
Whatever you
You
want
can
to
do what
do.
you want to do with
Yeah.
it. You can make it a 10-story building, a 20-story building. You can do whatever you want with
Whatever
it.
you want. Bless up to my man
Wow.
Remoku, because we started this with the blueprints of a brother. We started
Mm,
it specifically for black men. So we had this course we took them through, and this is how we honed in on this concept. So bless up to him for
nice.
being part of this. Yeah.
Nice. So what do you
Yeah.
think that men struggled with the most? Which part of those do you think that they struggled with the most? Out of the men that you have mentored to or taught this process to.
Uh,
And why which one and did it surprise you?
I would say the mystic,
Okay.
creating the creator within men.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I had an expectation that that would be it.
Mm-hmm.
But really seeing men be able to lose themselves in a creative endeavor. And I think that's a part of our strength, which connects to other ways that we manage a situation. When men fail to use their creativity, they get locked in rigid structure. So, like, a creative, if you look at, like, quote unquote creative men, what are they seen as? What, feminine?
Right,
Like,
right. Mm-hmm.
Prince was quote unquote feminine, but He was an outstanding creator. He played pretty much every instrument there was. His voice
Right.
was heavenly. Like he produced so many and wrote so many songs. He was a creator. He's a creator,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So like the thing that with men is that when we can learn how to create and and create, have a creative idea and then see it through, right? Have a vision and see it through. But when we have a vision, what happens? Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that can't happen. Ah, it
Mm-hmm.
take too long.
Mm-hmm.
Instead
Mm-hmm.
of really settling into the vision. That's where the mystic comes in, because the mystic is really about creating your reality.
Yes, yeah, and I kind of figured I kind of figured now that you broke it down, I kind of figured that's where because I think
Yeah,
that men, for the most part, have always been trained and conditioned to
yeah,
be structured in a certain way.
yeah.
You get a job, you do this, you provide for your family, you do whatever it needs, whatever you need to do to make it work. You don't do
Mhm.
what you want to do, you do what is necessary.
That's
Okay.
correct.
And
That's
so
correct.
now, when you're introducing the concept of being able to do what you want to do, you get to create this life that you
Hmm.
want to live. You get to be expressive in the way that fits you, that suits you, that is
Yeah,
part of your passion, and still be a man. That takes a lot of courage because, like you just said, for the most part, people look at that and go, "What? What are you doing? Are you?"
yeah,
But let me tell you something. You brought up Prince. That's my dude. Prince could wear heels. He was the sexiest man. That record he made, Sexy MF.
yo, Prince was the dude.
He was the dude. You are so right. And loved women. Okay? So there was never any doubt about that.
Never. Like cats still doubt it to this day. I'm
Yes,
like,
yes,
right. I'm
yes.
like, listen,
James
you
Brown
can
wore
focus.
heels too.
Right. Like, look, you can take your energy and question it however many times you want to. What I'm saying, come back to your question, the creators win. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like one of the goals this year is for me to get a saxophone, because I played for like 10 years. Nah, I would say
Really?
I played for, yeah, probably like 8 or 9 years, right? I stopped playing in high school because I thought it was more important to play sports. And now
Mmm.
looking back on it, to me, the saxophone, I could lose myself in playing it.
Sexy,
And it was
sexy,
like,
sexy.
so one of my things is in my 50s to get back to playing the saxophone. Like, yo, man,
Great, great.
like
Love me
play.
some. Yeah, listen, we got some awesome saxophone players out here in this world, and they bless
Yes.
us with their talents. Oh my goodness, you
Yeah,
got me
that's
thinking
the
about
key.
that. So yes,
Yeah.
great.
So yeah,
That
so
I'm
that's
looking
crazy.
forward to hearing you to create something. What you gonna bring with that now? Oh my goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah.
hold on. Just hold
Look,
on.
it's about getting right. It's about creating
Yeah.
your mission, right? What
Yeah.
is it you want? How you want your life to look? How you want to create? See, you're not just talking about it; you're being about it, and
Yeah.
that's important. That's always important when you got to bring when you're bringing your growth, your experiences, and your elevation
Hmm.
to everyone else. Because not only do they get to see what is possible based on where you were, but they also get to possibly experience it with you and start to elevate themselves.
Yeah. And I want to make sure to highlight something specifically for men, is that men's lack of creativity is showing up physically with things like testicular cancer, prostate cancer, these cancers in the genital regions of the body, because that's known in a lot of traditions as an energy center. So with our energy
Mm.
centers, if they're off balance, it can create physical dis-ease. That's how I know, and that's what was also further evidence for me that to say that the mystic, or that magician energy, that creator energy, is missing in men. It's getting blocked in men, and it's creating a lot of dis-ease. So when you see that, like for the inverse of that, like a lot of sexual dysfunction, a lot of like impotency issues, like a lot of these things stem from the men's lack of creativity and really honing in that center of the body. So I think it's
Wow.
very important that we address that, especially since this is in relation to men's mental health and men's health in general for June.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
make sure I include that in part of the series.
Hmm.
You know,
Please
because
do.
yeah, this you dropping some wonderful gems as usual. I mean, this is
Thank
why I
you,
love
brother.
talking to you. You know, it's
Come on,
always
Donna Dub, I got you.
Always, always, always a blast. So I got two more questions. I
Let's
got
go.
my smoked turkey on the stove. I'm making me some
Oh, let's
collard
go.
greens.
Oh, let's go.
So, and I'm smelling the turkey. I'm like, ooh, it's time to turn that stuff off. But
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's
so
go.
next,
Rapid fire. I'm ready. Focus.
no, we only got two more left. Next question. You work in the nonprofit. You funny. Rehabilitation and juvenile justice settings. That's not comfortable conference room work. That's the trenches. What keeps you going in these spaces?
Second
And what
chances.
do you see next for your Heal.Thy Man method that hasn't been built yet? This is a two-part question.
Okay, what keeps me in there? The
Right. What keeps
ability.
you going in those nonprofit rehabilitation? I kind of think I know what that would be. I know what it would be for
Hmm.
me, but we're talking to you.
Well, what do you think it is? I'm
I'm gonna
curious.
shut up
Yeah, I'm
because I think
curious.
you're curious what I think it is. What keeps you in those places? I think what keeps you in those spaces is the possibility of empowerment and change. That
Hmm.
you know that if you can get to people young enough to be able to show them that the way they may be going or the way they're thinking about going is not the way they want to go, and
Mm.
there's another way that they can achieve the greatness that is designed for their lives, you want to help them get there.
Yes. See, we're right here. We're right
That's that
here.
Virgo. That's that Virgo energy, baby.
That's it. Who you here, Virgo?
That's that
Yes.
Virgo energy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's it. Like the ability to know that seeds are planted that may take form that day, a week from later, 17 years later. I have no idea. I'm detached. My job as a vessel for spirit, God, Allah, is to drop the seeds, to bring wisdom, to be a vessel for them to themselves. That's it. That's it. So that's what keeps me coming back every time. As much as I drive and it takes time to prep and all this stuff, I don't care. I don't care. I'm doing it.
Nice,
I'm doing
nice.
it.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad, and
Oh.
I know that people are blessed that you're doing it, especially
Mhm.
parents. I think that parents are probably especially blessed that there's another voice other than their own that is
Mm.
telling their children something. Because usually that's how it works. Children
I
don't listen
don't.
to
I know.
their parents.
I,
They
no.
listen.
Oh, I know. Oh,
I know you
I
know.
know. They don't listen to me. He don't listen to me.
I know.
Um, I want to
What do
answer
you
the second
get that
question.
man method going? What's
Sexual transmutation. Sexual
really
transmutation. Yeah,
okay?
sexual transmutation. I could. I know it. My thing right now is I'm getting a sense that like while I'm working to create these spaces and whatnot for men, like my work is going to go more into like men's masterminds and really getting them to use their mojo. And part of
Okay.
that is disciplining their sexual energy. Not saying they got to stop having sex, but like sex gets to be more intentional. And that includes like being intentional on who you're having sex with. And
Mm,
if you're uncomfortable holding back, then like hold back, figure something else out. Like use that for a reason. It's like so I can see that's where it's going, and then being able to leverage that into co-ed spaces to really heal communities, heal families, rather than like being sexualized and whatnot. So nothing wrong with that. Like that's fun. That's fun every night. Every now and then on Saturday night or maybe even a Tuesday. I'm just saying like we get to have some balance and intention around it, and that's where I could see heal that. That's why I see Heal.Thy Man going. It's a little bit more racy, so it's most likely gonna wait like another 3 years while my son is out of high school because I just think like I'd rather have this material out here while he's out of the school system and on his path. And so that's my
okay.
thoughts around that. Yeah.
Well,
Thoughts around
see, and that's it. You're being proactive and you're
Yeah.
planning ahead.
Yes.
You're understanding where you want to put that in your life, and that's great because I
Thank
think
you.
that will help a lot of people, and especially it
Tremendously.
will help a
Yeah.
lot of men. It will help a lot of relationships. And I don't know if you were thinking about putting what you were talking about before about the the non-communicating about when there are parts of the libido that is not operating correctly for them to be able to express that, tell someone, talk about it,
Mm.
and get help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, please. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I bring you to the end of the conversation. So if there's anything, because I know there's going to be some men listening to this, because I'm going to share this with you. You're going to give me your information. I'm going to put it in the. Actually, you don't have to give me anything. I have everything I need. I'm going to put it in the description of this video, and we're going to tag each other so that you can share it with your
that's
network.
right.
I share it with my network. So
What's it called?
every man that is listening today, what do you want them to walk away with? What is the one thing you want every man listening today to walk away with?
Determine your own health. And what I mean by that is be an advocate for your health, be an advocate for your well being. Learn your body. I mentioned before, I became a guinea pig for myself, and I still am. Like I'm learning I keep teaching myself and put myself in spaces where I can get help, get support. And that's regular checkups, doing my screenings, all these different things. If I have, like, I had this skin condition, like I was hesitant to go talk about it, but like I went to a dermatologist about it, found out about it, researched, like now I got ways to address it. So know your own health. And that's why I have it as heal thy man method. Because to be a healthy man, you got to heal thyself. You got to. And that strips away in leather. So in layers. So find your health. Find what works, what heals you, what nourishes you, whether it's grounding, calisthenics. It's got to be movement. It's got to be breathing, but find your own health and the rest will take care of itself. And that's what I got.
Love it. I love it. Oh my God. I want to thank you so much, Paul. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing this.
you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for having me, Donna Dove, Donna Williams in the building.
You
Yo,
are
thank you so
welcome.
much. Thank you so much for
Listen,
having me. Appreciate you.
we are kindred spirits in so many ways, and we share a lot of the same processes, and knows that,
Yes.
hey, we're experiencing and we're growing and we're being better people every single day, and we're helping other
And
people become better every single day.
mhm.
I want to thank you again for coming out, for giving me some time. I
Bless
appreciate
up.
you. And I want everyone on here to understand and to learn everything that this man has just talked to us about. And I want you to reach out when you get a chance to him, to me, sign up, because I'm telling you, next year this time, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, you're not going to be here. But
You
here's what I
warned
want
them.
to leave you with. We warned you. Here's what I want to leave you with. I want you to celebrate your life, because the more you celebrate life, the more life there is to celebrate. See you
Mm.
next time on the Comfort Zone. Bye bye.
Bless up.
Hold on.